All right, we're live. Joe and Mike
Oh,
buildassetsonline.com. How do I sound, by the way? I got a new microphone.
you sound very, very nice. You sound like a podcaster. Joe, you just jump right in with no hesitation.
It said the time right now, so I had to press live, but no one's here. Oh wait, now
Yeah,
there's
I
two
didn't even
people
send
here.
it out to the Discord yet, but we got people coming in. So we're gonna do a Q&A today, or an Ask Us Anything at AMA. And yeah, we did what we do 125K high ticket dropshipping last 7 days, and that's a
Yeah.
pretty normal week. Not anything crazy. Some people like to have one good week and then they hype it up and try to sell their thing. But we've been in this game, Joe, almost a decade, which
Too
is crazy
long.
to think
I'm ready.
about.
I'm ready to retire.
Yeah, ready to retire. Where are you gonna go?
I
Thailand?
don't know. I don't know, but this lifestyle inflation keeps creeping up on me. That's the problem.
Lifestyle inflation? Like you make more money, then things, more money, things start popping up.
I just got a new car, and I feel like somehow everyone knew I was shopping for a new car. So I get all these letters in the mail that are like from Honda, for example, and they're like, get the cars on the lot now. It's like before the tariffs hit. Like, but
You think they
anyway,
knew?
I don't know. They probably knew somehow.
I mean, dude, you're lucky you're not on Instagram. That's all it is. Like you look at one thing or you go on a website, you're bombarded. But I mean, that's what we do as well on our stores, right? If somebody goes on the site, we're retargeting them, and that's just how it is. But yeah, the lifestyle inflation is real, and you really have to be careful about it because I remember back in the day when we were first learning how to make a course, and we were very early on in the game. I remember just thinking, oh, if we could make 4K a month drop shipping, or if we could make 10K a month online, like it would be such a big thing. And we talked to this guy, and he's like, yeah, once you're making 10K, like it's not a lot. You're always going to want more. And I mean, that's kind of how it is. But I feel like we also, you know, we live in an expensive area too. So we could just go to Thailand and retire right now, Joe. So I think
I
we
know.
should.
Yeah, it we might be doing it. We actually got a good question. First of all, Patrick says, "Hey guys," and just John
And
says, "This is actually a really good question." He says on the last Q&A, um, the current owner of your old store is trying to sell it back to you. What do you think they did wrong and that you did right?
did we say this? Oh, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. Okay, what did they do wrong that we did right? Here's the thing: the people that bought the site that we sold for $650,000, they were a bigger company. They were like a venture capital, you know, big thing. So it came with a big operation, and it came with big egos, thinking, "Oh, we're the VC firm. We know how to do this. We know how to do that." And so what happened was they basically took over the website. They laid their cookie cutter foundations on changing the Google ads because, oh, this is how we do Google ads. They changed the website because, oh, this is how we do websites. So what they did wrong was just change what's working.
yeah,
And that is a big principle. When you can find something that works, like you should be very, very hesitant to change it, because if you change what's working, you're going down a whole new experiment. So that's really what happened. And operationally they screwed up big time, and really the ads, I think, was the main culprit. Like they changed the ads within a week of taking the site over, and then they basically were like, hey, why are we getting those sales? Like we had to hop on a call with them, and then we looked at their ads and we're like, what did you just do? Change all this stuff back right now. So yeah, they really just, if you stick to the formula that we lay out inside of our program, you go to buildassetsonline.com. We have some new sweet packages actually on buildassetsonline.com for how to work with us. Yeah, it's all laid out. It's like just every site we make, it's just the same formula over and over and over. And it works. It works. So, really, the most successful sale that we ever had in terms of somebody taking over the website and then doing better with it was somebody that took over our website and they didn't change anything. They literally didn't touch the ads for like 2 years. And so,
Yeah, they actually, but they did have a solid system of VAs, I think. Or did they run? They took a lot of the calls themselves, right? He was just kind of grinding away, taking the calls himself.
yeah, so we had the ads the same, and then basically he was the main guy in terms of closing the sales. And so that's a big thing too. Like you're never going to be able to replace that skill 100%. You're probably going to be the best closer inside your business because what makes you the most margin, what's the easiest to sell. And so again, to outsource that to like just a low level staff, you're going to lose something there. Are you going to lose 20%? You're going to lose 30%, 50%. Maybe you're okay with losing 20% because it frees up your time to do other things. That's fine, but just something to consider. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, that is Rocket League behind me. John plays Rocket League. He's living in Chiang Mai. It could be me. Could be me, man. Very, very soon. No taxes. If you renounce your citizenship. I don't know if I'd go that far, but
Yeah. One thing I want to say about the people that bought this, um, I've noticed this working with a couple people lately in other spaces with Google Ads, is that if you're a non-native English speaker, I feel like there's so much room to mess up Google Ads, because I feel like you have to have a really, really good understanding of the intent of the words that people are searching for.
mhm.
Do you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
if you don't fully understand that because you haven't been speaking English your whole life, you're gonna mess things up, period.
yeah. We had this happen with another um, client that we were helping them out with their ads, and I can't think of another example, and I don't want to give away their business specifically, but yeah, it was a situation where they were paying somebody who were they definitely like a non-English speaker that was running their ads.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so they were losing out on a whole bunch of money because the person running the ads didn't understand the intent behind English phrases.
The other part is,
Um,
though,
yeah,
not just the intent, but one thing I've noticed is that people who haven't, the guy we've sold the store to that was really successful with it, he actually had other successful businesses that he ran ads for himself or with a partner or whatever. So he was very, very familiar with it. I think a lot of times what happens is these people, they go and hire like specific agencies that are specific to like Google ads. And that, I mean, that could almost be even worse than the English thing, because what I've seen is like they almost treat it as if like a textbook. Like they don't understand the business. They might understand every little stupid little feature about Google Ads. So they put so much focus on the features and what the ads can do versus like, okay, this is the business. What's going to move the needle the most for them? And they might run like performance max campaigns where it absolutely makes no sense to do that, or something like that, or just bid on different terms that make no sense, or just try different experiments that make no sense for that business.
yeah. I mean, we've had that happen to us back in the day when we hired a couple agencies to try running our high ticket dropshipping ads. And yeah, they know a lot about the platform, definitely more than us. But if you're not actively involved in the business to know the margins, just know like what's going to be a headache, what do I really want to sell, and not strictly thinking about the primary metric when running ads, which is your overall profit or even your overall revenue, then it's not going to work. Like if they're just running ads and they're all they could track because they're not inside the business is, hey, what were the add to carts? What were the begin checkouts? It's like you kind of lose sight of the main goal. Whereas when you're running the ads yourself, number one, it's not that hard, and you're not going to lose sight of the main goal because you know what you spent in ads, you know the money you have in the bank, you know, what profits do I make. So it's just really the last thing you should be outsourcing.
So on that note, Mike, I feel like this is an unanswerable question. Well, no, I guess, when should I increase my ad budget and how much should I increase it by?
So the way that we view it is I like to start with a conservative budget. So conservative to you could be $20 a day. To another person, it can be $100 a day. And really, the whole point of your budget cap is to make sure that you're not screwing up on what's actually coming through. So, are my keywords right? Am I spending money in the right places, putting it towards this brand instead of that brand, putting it towards the right devices in the right splits, right? So, did all my spend go towards mobile? Did all of it go towards computers? You need to have the proper splits. And this is something we go through extensively inside of our program is like how to troubleshoot what's going on inside your ads. So, point being, you have a conservative budget, it's capped, and then you monitor that until you've tweaked things where everything looks good. Where my money is going here looks good, my device spend looks good, branded versus non-branded, all those things, and you're getting sales, you're getting a return on your money. So if you're spending $20 a day, that means 600 a month. What did you make back in terms of revenue? So if you're not doing at least a 10x return on ad spend, meaning you spent 600 a month, did you make 6,000 back? Then you should not be increasing your budget. You should be figuring out, are my suppliers bad, or did maybe money go towards the wrong suppliers this month? Like if I spent 600 in a month, but 300 went towards something I didn't really sell that much, and only $50 went towards this one brand where I got this big sale, then you need to reallocate your budget. And once things are where you like them, then you can increase your budget. So, how much to increase it by? I wouldn't double it. Maybe a 50% increase, and then again, go through the same process until you've, kind of maxed it out. So, I kind of alluded towards this in terms of ROAS we see on our stores, but 10x return on ad spend is the minimum that we like to see. So $600 in ads in a month, I want to see at least 6,000 back, because with high ticket dropshipping, the way your margins are going to pan out with the suppliers is normally going to be somewhere between 10% and 40%, give or take, by supplier. So if you could hit 10x return on ad spend, you're most likely profitable. But I mean, we see stores do 15, 20, but 10x is kind of like a minimum baseline, and it's easy to see, right? Rather than having to dig into all your numbers, you can just kind of look at that overhead view and then say, did I screw up or am I doing really good? And if like you're at 100x return on ad spend, or even like 40, then that's probably a sign you're spending too little, and there's a lot of growth opportunities inside the account.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's the last of the questions, Mike. Why don't you rip a game of Rocket League while we wait for some more?
I should stream. No, I'm not that good. Just John, what rank are you in Rocket League? Job and grind in Rocket League since 2020, since the lockdown stuff, and I'm stuck, man. I'm stuck.
It's hard to go that extra mile at once you're at a certain point. You probably got all the easy.
I really have to just retire. Like that's part of it. If I could just retire from online business, I think just jiu-jitsu and Rocket League, I could just grind out more and see some big improvements.
Yeah.
But should we take to Reddit, Joe, and see what the people are asking there? I think the last Q&A we did really hit home, because multiple people have reached out to us about it. I guess that one comment that the original poster left saying that he was part of our course, people really saw that and took to it, even though he's doing a totally different thing than what we teach. But anyway, where do you find employees in the USA? I've been thinking about getting Filipinos, but not for answering the phone. So, yeah, I mean, you could use VAs in the Philippines for basically anything else. You can even use them for answering the phones. On the store that we sold for $650,000, we had a lot of Filipinos answering the phones, but we did have some Americans as well. Really, like the phone sales would be the last thing I delegate, but you can have VAs take phone calls for like existing order issues. So in your phone system, you could just make, hey, press 1 for new orders, press 2 for existing orders, and then you would put that extension towards the VA. But where do you find employees in the USA? I don't know. We've used Indeed. Anything else we've used?
Monster. I don't know. Is Monsters? I did use Monster one
Are they
time.
around?
I don't know. Yeah, yeah,
Craigslist. Can you use Craigslist? I don't know. I think really the important thing, Berkman, is to go after parts of the country that have a lower cost of living. So
yeah. I've been learning some places in like the Midwest, like I think in like a food service type job, you make like $10 an hour, which seems, I guess, for any other part, like of it seems like the coasts or whatever, it seems really low.
like a waiter, what's the food
Y-
service?
Like working at like Chipotle or making drinks or whatever.
Oh, okay. It's not like where how a waiter gets paid less than minimum wage because they're getting tips.
No, not like that, not like that. But I'm saying like I
Yeah.
feel like $10 an hour for someone that's like a native English speaker if they're living in like a cheap place, I mean could work for them for sure.
Yeah, and you could sort by state minimum wages. Damn. The minimum wage in Alabama is 7.25.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, that's what I got
Maybe
when I
that
started
that
working.
maybe that's the new Philippines.
Yeah, like I mean, so right there, it just shows you kind of the cost of living in those places is much lower. So it's not that there aren't qualified people there. It's just, if it costs you $50,000 to buy a house in Alabama, they don't have to make as much. So it's just crazy how much variation there is within the states,
Yeah.
right? Like Alabama minimum wage is 7.25, and then meanwhile, Illinois 15. Most places it's 15. North Carolina 7.25. North Dakota, Oklahoma, a lot of places, even Pennsylvania 7.25, South Carolina 7.25. So I mean, I literally just Googled it, but yeah, Washington State 16.66. That looks to be the highest. So
I have a fun any tips on SEO when building your first site. So nowadays, just based on how Google has evolved, I don't think you should really be investing any of your resources into SEO, like in terms of links and content anymore, because it's so far now from like the 10 blue links, especially on e-commerce terms, that even if you rank like in the top 3 for something, it's almost like people aren't likely to click that because there's
what
so
do you
many
mean it's so far from the 10 blue links?
because in like 2020 to 2022, 23 even, when you search for something on Google, the majority of the real estate was the 10 blue links. And now if you search for anything that's has any sort of buying intent, it's like crazy amounts of widgets, ads. I mean,
When you say 10 blue links, you just are referring to the first page of organic search results.
yes. Yes, the 10 blue links.
That's
So if I,
is like SEO terminology.
yeah, it is kind of SEO, if SEO terminology. So I just search for like vacuum cleaner on my phone, and the first thing I see is the sponsored shopping ads. I go below that, I'm seeing more sponsored shopping ads, but I think these are like LSAs. So it's like Google, they're like local businesses that also sell vacuums. And then I got to scroll down like a whole bunch just to see the organic results, which, you
He
know,
said even when thinking long term and selling the site, would it be beneficial then?
yeah. So what I was going to say is you want to make sure that your site is just like well organized and structured. So, you have all your brands as brand pages. You have any sort of collections that you can make that would make sense. It's all nicely interlinked from your homepage to your header and everything like that.
So you're not
Uh,
saying don't make content, don't do on page SEO. You just kind of view it as a secondary metric.
no, I'm just saying, like, make sure your site is set up in a way that's easy to navigate. You have collection pages for all the major stuff, your brands, and even when thinking, if you're thinking long term, you don't know what SEO is looking like in the long term. Like I wouldn't recommend investing in links or even making content. Like I feel like long term for e-commerce, SEO is going to be even less important.
You wouldn't invest in making content?
No, not anymore. Not
Or
anymore.
like AI?
Well, yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess that's a separate topic. You could make it to try to rank in the LLMs, which is something you could do. But
No, I
I
just
just
meant like using AI to make content quickly and easily, just to even serve your website visitors.
you could do it. I just feel like I wouldn't do it anymore. Like I feel like it's just a waste of time, and it's not. It wouldn't even be that quick because you still have to tell it what, have it research the products that you're recommending, tell it which products to do. I'm just saying I think that there's better things to do. That's all I'm saying. Like, all right. Remember when we first started, Mike? We made like 6 stores. We didn't do
Yeah.
any form of SEO on any of them. It was just make the stores, do the ads, and then keep going. Like ad suppliers. I would
Yep.
say just stick to that. Add suppliers, make new stores, run the ads. I feel like everything else is secondary.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not saying it's worthless. I'm just saying that at this point, with where SEO is and where Google is, I'm just trying to give you the 80-20 of it.
Yeah.
Because it's been
So
changing rapidly.
rather than investing time in, having it write different things and all the time it would take to actually spit out a bunch of articles, you could have just made another store.
Yeah, the
Or called
thinking
another
and
supplier.
the research and the researching and the formatting. I mean, AI makes it faster, but it still takes time. It still requires your mental energy.
What do you think about making those articles and then running traffic to the articles?
Well, Mike, we tried that recently. Did it get one conversion? I'm actually going to
Look,
go in our ads account and look, because if it didn't get a conversion, I feel like we should turn it off,
I
because we set this
don't
up a
know if
long
I'll
time
look.
ago.
I'll look. I don't know if it spent that much.
No,
I
it's
think I did it
spent.
for a few things.
It's spent. It's spent.
Okay, it's spent.
I
How
check it
much?
every once in a while.
Let's see.
Oh wow.
Oh well, what?
No, in the last 30 days, apparently it did get 14K in conversion value.
Oh, let's see.
Let's check all
Let's
time.
see. Sorry for the stagnant air,
Yeah,
but this
yeah.
is
This is
interesting. So we did talk about this, and we did not really evaluate it much after that.
well. I could
I don't actually don't see.
search for best inside the ad account.
I'm a noob, Joe.
You
I
know what?
see. I see 3 best
Yeah. I'm gonna paste.
article ad sets, and they each spent like $600, and I don't see any conversions with them.
Well, I do see one conversion, but then I see the conversion value. So meaning that maybe they bought off a different ad later. Let's look at it.
We'll have to dive
Let's
into this.
Well, we can look at it right now. I'm gonna show it in the chat in a sec. Just making sure there's no critical info there, which I don't think there is.
While you're working on that, I'll read this question here from Forbes. Forbes themselves. Do you think someone should have multiple stores? I want to, but some people say you're spreading yourself too thin if you have multiple focuses. I mean, we did it. We had like 5 or 6 stores at one point, and were we spread thin? I don't think so, because really you could have one big store or you could have 6 smaller stores. So it's kind of just the yeah. Okay, it says
I, th-
0
I
conversion, but
hold
this
on.
is all conversion value.
I think what's important with the stores is you want to make sure that you're doing the sprints to finish what you need to finish on one store before moving on to the next. So don't be like calling 3 different supplier lists for 3 different stores at the same time and adding. Just finish one, get
Yeah,
it set up, get it running, and then go from there.
yeah. Because the point here is we see people that have one store, they kind of get stuck grinding away at it when maybe they're not in like the best industry. So they can keep grinding away at it, and maybe they find kind of the breakthrough supplier or just like the breakthrough product type within that industry, and they should put focus into that. And you really shouldn't give up too easily. But if it just gets to a point like, hey, just make another store, it's gonna be the same process where you're just calling suppliers and onboarding them and running ads, but it's just for a different industry. And you may find that, hey, like this industry is way easier than my last store, and now you have that context, and so it kind of gives you a break, because one store can certainly hit a point of diminishing returns, and we try to avoid that with like how we give people advice on how to make the store. But yeah, sometimes it just happens, and you know the industry is more difficult or whatever, and it's like, yeah, just make another store. And it's just the same process. Like either you have 10 suppliers on one store, or you have 5 on this one, 5 on another one. It's not really being spread thin any differently. Sorry, let me look at this, Joe, because yeah, it says $5 901 spend, but conversions shows 0, and then it shows all conversion value as 26,000. Right.
I think it's maybe that got the click, and then it's crediting the conversion to some other click like down the line. I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
So we were trying to answer the question of, should you run traffic through Google to like an SEO type article, like a best vacuum for pet hair or something? Will it get conversions?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think the jury's still out, Joe. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I think these ads that we made did not work well, but I'd like to see why. I haven't really dived into them to kind of see again, like, did we screw up here or there?
Yeah. Well,
But
we have a call it too, or maybe we could ask the guy.
yeah, we are doing a call with Google begrudgingly, but when you spend this much money, you stop getting calls from the non-native English speakers just trying to get you to spend more money, because our Google rep actually admitted to us this is what happens when you first start running Google ads and you're a new account. They give you the bottom level Google reps, but then as you spend more and more and your account gets older, they start upgrading you to better and better reps. So I normally wouldn't have booked a call, but this guy is like actually good and knows what he's talking about, and it is actually there to help versus just trying to get you to use new features or spend more money, because that is 100% what the low tier Google reps are trying to get you to do. They don't understand Google better than you do. They probably understand it way worse, and they just have one goal: increase the spend. So yeah, I mean, I remember one time we got suspended on one of our accounts for it was like a rank and rent site, and I was trying to call Google to get it fixed, and I wound up like calling a Google rep just because I wanted them to like fix it, and we were suspended. So the account was spending no money, and the Google rep, they were convinced it was because I wasn't using Performance Max, or like I wasn't using this campaign type. I'm like, no, it stopped spending right here when I got suspended. Like don't get me started. Santos, in which country are your suppliers? We use USA suppliers only. Elisa Asa Bashir says, yo, got the Lambo or some type of vehicle.
It's an exotic.
Yeah, it's a foreign. That's the, what'd you say, Joe? Lifestyle inflation.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's just funny because it's like people want the lifestyle inflation.
I know. I'm just trying to get a safe European car, and it's just costing me out the ass.
Yeah. How much money would you have to buy a Lambo?
Oh, like for me to say like, this is nothing to me and buy
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Probably 100 million.
How
Well, because I
much does a
I don't
Lambo
even
cost?
want one. I don't even want one. I have been seeing on the road like Ferrari SUVs. I feel like I see them kind of often.
You might be seeing the Lamb trucks.
Yes, yes, you're right.
On
Yes,
the road.
that's what it is. It's not a Ferrari. I see
Yeah.
those a lot.
Maybe they're safe.
Maybe.
Laura says, "What's up?" Tyler wants 97 Civic.
Well, the way I view cars is like this. Is I feel like in your life, the most likely way that you're going to die or get seriously injured is in a car accident, like statistically. So that being said, it's not a waste of money to get like the safest car like feasible, if that makes sense. Because I feel like if God forbid you get seriously injured in a car accident or you die, like there's not much else you could do.
You have to plan for the catastrophic risk.
Yeah, and I feel like driving is the most catastrophic risk that we engage in on a daily basis.
Yeah. Yeah. Although it feels like flying is, but I guess really the thing is, I was thinking about this because I had to go on a plane. Is like driving. There's way more likelihood of getting in an accident, but like in a plane, if you get in an accident, like you're just 100% dead.
Is that true? I don't think I think
I
I
mean,
don't think that's true.
what's the percent fatality of getting in a plane crash? Ask
What about the guy that landed on the ocean?
Sully.
Yeah.
Sully's, well, he's the goat, but they landed in the Hudson, Joe.
Okay.
They made a movie about it.
Well, either way, I feel like you're not automatically dead.
I'm just saying it's high probability. Anyway, I found this question off Reddit. I thought maybe we could answer it.
Okay.
From Early Blueberry 606.
All right. Do you want me to read it?
I'll read it. Hey, all. I'm 24. I'm just entering the dropshipping market. I have created a website for traveling essentials, and I made it perfect and simple for the user experience. However, I'm struggling to market it and don't know where to start. I'm seeing TikTok ads doing well for advertising, but I need some opinions on how I can market my site a bit differently and what other market areas I could focus on. I have a budget of $50 to $75 euros per day. Will appreciate anything I can get. Cheers. That's a big marketing budget for a 24-year-old.
So like I feel as if this person I would be curious. This is part of the problem with this is what made them pick I don't even like what made them pick travel essentials first of all, and what made them think that they're going to do well advertising it on TikTok.
That's the thing. People are on TikTok and then they just see people saying how they made money dropshipping. It's kind of like when we first started, right? Like we saw people on YouTube that were talking about how they just sold these little widgets, and we're like, oh, I want to try to do that. And it's just the success rate is just so low. They're just so off base from like the very first step. They started at zero and then they just went in the wrong direction. from the very
Yeah,
first step.
and that's why I think it's so important that when you're first starting out is that you need to follow something that has been proven to work. You need to follow a business model that's been proven to work. Like think about it. If you're going to open up a restaurant and it's your first restaurant ever, you know nothing about the restaurant business. How much more likely is it going to be if you decide to open up a McDonald's that you're going to be successful? Probably way higher than if I decide to open up like whatever Joe's restaurant. Because I don't know, I don't, I might not know how to cook anything. I don't know what details I need to figure out. You got to follow a blueprint.
Yeah, people see like food trucks on the street, and people talk about, oh, I made this much money, with the food truck, and like you see these people that have this high level of success when you don't really see all the failures that are associated with it versus like what percentage of McDonald's fail after the first year.
Yeah, well, I think online is it's even more crucial to follow something because I feel like with a local business or local restaurant, like you could just get lucky because kind of if you're renting out a place, the traffic is there, you could just kind of make things happen. But I feel like online, there's so many things you could do. And if you don't do the right stuff and you don't follow the right steps and have a good framework for what you're doing, you're like going to fail 100% of the time because no one is going to see, there's no foot traffic unless you make it. You have to create the traffic. It has to be the right kind of traffic. And you have to be selling the right kind of products to the right kind of traffic.
Yeah, I think overhead is really a blessing and a curse because people just take that for granted. Like if you have a storefront, you pay for that where it is, right? So if you're on a major road, whatever, you're paying $3,000 a month to be in that location. It is inherently getting you traffic of real people, and you're marketing. Like if you have a restaurant, it's just we understand it in our brains that people eat food. So it's like you're serving the right thing to the right people versus with an online business, you don't really have any overhead. You're just paying for the traffic. So you have to find the right place to place yourself with the right business and then spend the money to go ahead and get those people to view you. But if it doesn't work after like a month, it's not like, oh, I'm locked into this lease. I'm paying $3,000 a month every month for a year. It's like they're just going to shut it down because they get discouraged. They spent, $1,000. They didn't make any money. So the flexibility sometimes can screw you. Instead of saying, all right, yeah, I'm selling these travel essentials. Maybe I should just be selling the high ticket luggage instead. And, you know, TikTok, admittedly, I'm a bit of a boomer. So it's hard for me to speak with authority, but like, I mean, we actually are part of a business right now that's running a lot of TikTok traffic, and we're doing these TikTok lives, right? We're not, but the other person is, and tens of thousands of views and hundreds or thousands of people in a live, and it results in like so few sales. So the difference is just insane versus selling high ticket luggage, going to Google, which is much more representative of the real world. People search, this luggage brand, you just show up for it. The intent is baked in. And then you're going to get that sale much easier off of much less traffic.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's a time and a place for TikTok and other social media type ads, but I've said this many times. If it's your first rodeo online, the search engines are the way to go because yeah, you got to have so many things like your marketing messaging has to be correct. You have to have a good video. You have to have all these things in place, and you basically have to convince someone to do something that's like not looking to do it in that moment. You got to get them to take some sort of action, to take out their wallet when they were just looking at some, just were scrolling on TikTok, just trying to get a laugh or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like the TikTok view to conversion rate has to be something like 100,000 to 1.
Yeah, yeah, it has to be something
It's
crazy.
astronomical versus the screenshot we posted of our sales for the last week. Our conversion rate was like 0.11%, which is what, like
Well, yeah,
1,000 to
we'll
1.
we'll see, because speaking of our cousin Jared, he says I feel like cousin Jared would drive a Lamborghini. What is Urus?
Urus, that's the lamb truck.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he probably would want to. But I told him to do some stuff on TikTok that's more of like I guess whale bait, you could say, versus the stuff that we're doing. And yeah, he's getting basically to book clients for his agency. So I mean, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, but think about it. Jared, almost 10 years in the game.
Yeah, Jared
Multiple
can
high ticket dropshipping stores, and really figured out, okay, had a stable way to make money before this. So he kind of understands like some basic marketing stuff. He's not just like a complete noob.
Yeah, Jared's definitely got some more tools in his belt than the average Redditor.
Right. Right. Yeah. If you're already going on Reddit asking how to how to market your product, then it's game over for you. Santos asks, what is your profit margin? 10 to 40%, just depending on the supplier. Santos says the worst thing I did was try to do low ticket dropshipping, lots of competition and low returns. A real rat race. Yeah. Especially with the tariffs that are probably going to come in, that's probably going to go out the window. Because I think there was a whole thing. I didn't even realize this, Joe. There was like that loophole where when you ship in one product from China, it like avoids the tariffs.
Yeah, it's called like de minimis.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I think anything under a certain
value.
yeah, anything under a certain value would get overlooked, I think.
Do suppliers typically pay for shipping? Paul L asks. No, we usually pay for the shipping cost. So there's times where the supplier will include free shipping, and that's baked into the margin of the product. That's nice. But most of the time, they'll just charge you whatever it costs them to ship it. And we usually just give free shipping to the customer just because it's like we've really seen you having shipping costs apply to customers like not work well. We've always done free shipping on our end, but working with a lot of students, we always run into this where like they want to charge shipping to people, to the customers, to increase their margins, and every time they tweak it to do it, their conversions just plummet. So I really, really don't recommend it. I'd rather, if I need to charge $100 for shipping, I'd rather just add $100 to that product. But that's a separate conversation. Let's see what else I can find on Reddit here.
Hey, do you mind if I like hop off and do something for like 3 minutes?
Yeah, you could do that.
I got to do something for the car.
Oh my god! See what happens?
No, I'll be right back. All right, let me just.
Yeah, you're good.
I'm gonna take myself off.
So I got this from Reddit. Excellent Air 4209 got his first sale of $54. And so who knows how much it took him in ad spend to get this? Who knows what he's even going to make on it? But this is what I was saying about conversion rate. Like his conversion rate on his store is 5%. It's like, who cares? Because our conversion rate last 7 days is 0.11%. So 100 times lower, right? And it's just about how much money you're bringing in at the end of the day versus the other stupid metrics like your conversion rate. Forbes asked, do you typically find that one made product drives the majority of your sales while the others contribute more sporadically? What we find is it is definitely a spread like that. So you probably have one supplier versus just one product. You have one supplier that is going to do a chunk of your profit. It's kind of like the 80-20 rule, right? 20% of your suppliers will make up 80% of your revenue, your profit. So you have that. You have like your big suppliers, and then you have little ones that bring in, you know, money kind of after that. So it's not necessarily that so here's the thing. We've had suppliers that have hung around in our store and they made like decent profits over the years. And then you find that over time, they actually wind up gaining more popularity because they're growing their brand just as much as, you know, we're growing our brand. And you find that demand for that one supplier kind of kicks off. And then all of a sudden they go from like mid grade to above grade. So yeah, that's how it is. And sometimes, you know, you can always go out and get new suppliers as well if you feel like you don't have that main home run supplier or the ones you have kind of suck. But yeah, I would typically say it is a 80-20 rule. So if you have any more questions, guys, please throw them in the chat here. Otherwise, you can go to buildassetsonline.com, check out what we're doing if you want to work with us one-on-one and see how we do high-ticket dropshipping and kind of work with us one-on-one on that. But I'm looking through Reddit right now, and I'm trying to see if there's any good questions here. And what you see is just a lot of people posting just all sorts of nonsense. But I got one here that I'm gonna post in. Let me see. Add image. Is this the right one? So this person said, need advice on adult toys niche for dropshipping. Hello, everyone. I'm currently exploring the adult toys niche for my first dropshipping store. I really appreciate your input. Has anyone here worked in this niche and have any insights here? I'm trying to understand what works best when it comes to creative marketing angles, and especially which platforms are good or bad for advertising this type of product. I'm also curious about any issues with payments, logistics, blah, 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 blah. If you have any experience with this niche or tried to run ads, I'd love to hear your thoughts. We actually did a video about this a couple of years ago. We had a friend of ours in the dropshipping space who was doing adult dolls. Here's Joe.
Yeah.
And this person was doing really well with what he called influencer marketing. So I'm not sure exactly how that worked, but he.
I know how it worked. So
Go ahead.
in that space, I don't know if you remember this, but he was saying how there's like a lot of forums in that space. And so like he was able to get like sponsorship on the forums and like go on forums and answer questions and things like that. So it was really, really specific to this adult niche, which I remember him showing us some of the forums as well. So, you know, it wasn't as if he, I don't think it was like on Instagram or anything.
No, this was kind of before Instagram was like super popping. But yeah, I don't know if that would even work well on Instagram. Yeah, but he would just find the people where they were festering, I suppose. And that, something to be said for that. Like if you can find the community where people hang out and you can kind of get embedded in that, I think that could work wonders. I mean, even for like dropshipping, right? Like if we were active on the dropshipping Reddit, not that we even want to be, but you know, that's just a ripe audience of people that are involved in your niche. So
yeah.
But the adult one is tough. I just picked that because I mean I haven't heard of anybody else doing that niche since he was, and could be a good thing to get into it. Nicholas Harlow, what's up, man? My sales are a bit sporadic, definitely not profitable. I want to convert more of the paid clicks to sales before cranking up ad spend. What tactics would you recommend in this case? I mean, so Nick, I know you have the one-on-one access to us, so definitely let me know what's going on. I haven't seen your name in a while, but we were talking about this just a bit ago in the stream. Maybe it's time for you to start up a new store, and maybe you'll find that industry that you're in now is a bit difficult because if you've been grinding away, I don't know how much time you put in the past, 6 months, you might want to see if the grass is greener somewhere else. And oftentimes what you find is that, yeah, the industry I was in before was like really tough. And I know for a fact you have some tough competitive suppliers on your store. And maybe the industry itself is just, not easy. But happy to take a look at your ad account if you want to message us later. and we'll see what's going on. But yeah, I think sometimes just the next best thing to do is just make a new store and yeah, just try running ads on that one. Not that you need to give up on this first store. Usually what we find is like the second store helps you build the first store because you realize like what normal is or what a good supplier is. Yeah, he said not much time invested, also competitive suppliers. I mean, there's no reason why you can't be profitable in this store. But again, I think having another store will give you good perspective. And also, when we have one store, we're kind of more desperate to make things work. We're like, hey, this is all I'm making for my dropshipping stuff. So like, I have to make it work on this store. Versus what happened with us, we had our first store and we were having trouble making it profitable, honestly, and it was a bit more competitive. But then when we made store 2, store 3, store 4, we saw, oh wow, like these are taking off way easier. We put the first one kind of on set it and forget it mode where our bids were super low. Meanwhile, we still had sales coming in. It actually became more profitable. And then as we really learned the ads from stores 2, 3, 4, we went and kind of reapproached store 1. And then we wound up being able to sell it for 80,000. So
Let me I want to share with him something. I don't know if that's him in the profile picture. But so again, I can't say that this is definitely worth pursuing, but just browsing around looking at his profile picture. Hold on. How do I I gotta remove this. Add this. So I did find this musical instruments store. I don't know exactly how this is operating. Like if it looks like it could be a high ticket dropshipping store. I'm not totally sure, but they did. Or is it a physical location? I'm not sure, but they were selling expensive harps, and there's all sorts of weird instruments on here. And I did see that some of them were branded. Like there were some brands to this. One of the brands was called. Let me find it. Did I close the window? Rossback. It's like an instrument brand. Roosbeck. Yeah, I don't know. Could possibly be a
we
supplier.
did have a very early student that was doing guitars.
Yeah.
This is like one of the first BAO students I saw.
Yeah, this does seem to be a brand. They have like a string set right here and whatever. They do have it looks like they do have a regular shop though. But I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's so many different niches to go into, and I don't know.
Maybe it was a stupid idea.
Yeah, I mean, maybe don't do that one. But anyway, Laura said, when you have your store running and spending on ads, what's your daily routine? For example, checking out ads, calling suppliers. How do you distribute your work, if any? When you first start, I feel like you don't have that much work to do once it's up and running. Like I'm trying to think back to what we did when we first had our first store going. I think we were just like uploading products a lot because we were just doing that ourselves.
Yeah, we were just uploading products. Well, I think what we did was we basically were of the mindset of, like I said before, make store, upload products until we started seeing like very, very regular sales. And then once we started seeing regular sales, then the management of that became the next problem. So that's what we did. We kind of kept ourselves busy doing the stuff that we thought was going to move the needle, which was more stores, more products.
Yeah, I mean that still is kind of what moves the needle. So I don't think you need to check on your ads every day. I actually think it's. I mean, you can look at it, but don't like tweak things every day. That's not a recipe for success. And so, yeah, really, you could just start calling more suppliers, I guess, or I don't know if you're uploading products yourself or if you're hiring somebody to do it, but that's kind of what you got to do. Do you think it's worth selling personalized products? No. probably better just to do something else. Nicholas says, does each store need a separate ads account, GMC, etc.? Yes. Definitely a separate GMC, and yeah, separate ads account as well. That's how we've always done it. And if you're going to sell a store, you have to be able to kind of piece it off. So it's just easier to have the assets separated by store. So what do you think, Joe? We're at 55 minutes. So
yeah, time to call it. I gotta go eat something.
Take to the lifestyle.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Anyway,
well, thank you guys for coming along. Go to buildassetsonline.com if you want to work with us one-on-one to build your high-ticket dropshipping store. Take it from $5,000 a month to $10,000 a month to $100,000 a month. And there's a very strict formula for it. We will show you. Look at the nice new website, Joe.
Yeah, look at this. You just go here. You click Get Started. You select monthly or yearly. You select your package. You go to sign up, and that's about it.
Truly,
we've made it easy for you. There's no friction. There's no webinar. There's nothing.
Yeah, we're trying to make it smooth sailing. If you want to work with us, come work with us. If not, that's fine, because you could take it or leave it. But as always, take it easy.